Welcome, dear Achim Pulse community, to our very last session of Siemens and Guests. For all of you who are there for the very first time, my name is Christine, and together with my colleague Andy, we are hoping that you're having a fun and informative time with us here on the Siemens channel. So Andy, what's going to happen in the next 45 minutes?
So, as I mentioned before the break, it's another topic that's very close to my heart.
Another one. Andy, you must have a very big heart. So what is it about this time?
So over the last few years, we've been supporting the UK initiative, the MMIC. It stands for the Medicines Manufacturing Innovation Centre. Siemens was announced as an official technology partner last summer. The MMIC collaboration focuses on innovation and new technologies in the pharmaceutical industry. And I'm going to go and talk to Dave Tudor and Katie Murray about the importance of partnerships to them in this initiative.
Sounds great. So I wish you a great discussion and we'll catch up later.
See you later.
See ya.
So here I am, back on the sofa and delighted to be joined by Dave Tudor, the Managing Director, and Katie Murray, the Technical Director from the Medicines Manufacturing Innovation Centre, or MMIC. Both are calling in from the UK. Hello to both of you. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Andy. Really well, thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Andy. I'm doing fine too, thanks.
So we're together to talk about driving innovation and new technologies in the pharmaceutical industry through partnerships and collaboration. The MMIC is an excellent example of that. But before we dive into the talking about the MMIC and reveal to the audience all the intricate details, let's start with a short intro from both of you. So, Dave, can you briefly describe your journey to becoming the Managing Director of the MMIC?
Well, Andy, I've worked in the pharmaceutical industry for 29 years, and for 27 of those years I worked with GSK, and a varied number of roles involved technology, manufacturing and supply chain strategy. But 2 years ago, I decided to leave GSK to take up this exciting new opportunity. I was really keen to try and drive advanced technology into the sector and to impart some of the knowledge that I gained into different workforces in the pharmaceutical industry.
Excellent. Thanks, Dave. And Katie, how about yourself?
Hi, Andy. Yeah, I'm a chemical engineer by background, and I spent 25 years in Big Pharma, Merck & Company in the US, and then AstraZeneca in the UK. I've done a variety of technical and leadership roles in process development and scale-up, and also in large capital projects. Then at the beginning of 2020, I had a great opportunity to join Dave and the team at MMIC on a 3-year secondment from AZ as the technical director. In this role, I have accountability for the Grand Challenge portfolio, which includes successfully delivering our in-flight projects and assuring we have an exciting pipeline of new ones in the development phase.
OK, and we'll be hearing about that later. Right, Katie. So, Dave, let's talk about the MMIC. Can you describe a little bit about how it came about and how you see the mission of your organisation?
Yeah, sure, Andy. I mean, the initial concept for the Medicines Manufacturing Innovation Centre came from the University of Strathclyde, but it soon evolved very quickly into a major part of the UK's Life Sciences Strategy Refresh programme in 2017. And it really was set up to try and solve two particular problems from that analysis that took place. One is the industry felt that they weren't accelerating technology into drug manufacture as quick as they could be. Another thing is the UK government had been investing heavily in research hubs for the last decade. And so they were developing advanced technology and wanted to accelerate that into the pharma industry. So MMIC was set up with this great mission, and it really has two separate parts to its mission. The first is to create collaborations, and we call these grand challenges. So we create collaborations looking at advanced technology, trying to think ahead of the industry to solve step change opportunities for how we make medicines today. That could be a compliance improvement, a productivity gain, or a carbon footprint reduction. But these are big technology ambitions, and we run that through a grand challenge operating model. But more than just developing the technology, the industry were keen for us to demonstrate the technology at a GMP level with the regulators. So over and above that model that I've talked about, we're actually building a facility which allows us to land the technology and to run it at a GMP level working with the regulators. What's great about that strategy is it means that the industry can just literally cookie cut the technology and replicate it within their own facilities. So that's the mission. It's advanced technology and accelerating the translation.
Wow. Pretty ambitious, right? I mean, and exciting, I suppose. Katie, how do you see them people benefiting? I mean, how is the pharma sector reacting to this sort of plan and mission that Dave was just outlining? What's your take on that?
Well, aside from the benefits to our partners, our high-level aim is threefold. Firstly, to benefit patients through increased access to cheaper and novel medicines. Secondly, to benefit the environment through more sustainable manufacturing processes. And lastly, to drive a vibrant UK economy through retaining existing and attracting new pharma manufacturing operations and also their related industries within the UK. The pharma sector is very interested and excited by our mission, as evidenced by the fact that we've grown from 6 founding partners in 2019 to over 20 today, and we're currently talking to many more potential partners. We're always happy to talk to companies who are interested in finding out more about MMIC and our current and future grand challenges to help them understand how becoming a partner could benefit them.
Okay, so you talked about the facility earlier, Dave, and as we know, it's not quite built yet, but I think we have an artist's impression that we want to share. And perhaps, Dave, you can talk, when are these grand challenges going to be operational?
Yeah, well, let me start with the facility first of all. So the facility will be fully operational in January 22. So we get the keys to the new building, if you like. And effectively, it is going to be a state-of-the-art pharmaceutical production building. We're looking at a factory of the future design and a real modular, flexible feel to the facility. So that's when we'll move into the factory. With regard to the grand challenges of some of them have been operating now for 2 years. So we have 3 grand challenges that have been launched, and Katie will say much more about that later on. But we have 3 that are launched, and some of them have been running for 2 years. And so the equipment design and the manufacture of the particular production lines are well progressed. And if you take grand challenges 1 and 2, they actually land in the facility very early in 2022, and we operationalise them through the middle of the year. And so this would be a great opportunity for us to showcase some of these new advanced technologies.
Okay, so I know that there are a number of partners involved in this project, and quick plug, Siemens are one of them. But Dave, can you talk about this partnership model? I know it's really, really important to the thing. Now, I remember you talking one time about the triple helix of collaboration. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the collaboration is hugely important. And what we're trying to do is to bring together the right academics with the right capability and partnering academics together, coupled with the key industry players that are interested in that technology, and of course the government agencies that support us so well in that programme. So that's what I mean by the triple helix. When we get countries operating in that way, or that triple helix, we tend to get much more power and momentum behind the technology shift. That's the really important part. Now, MMIC was set up with initially 6 founding partners from across academic, industry and government agencies, and we have expanded that partnership significantly. We've now got, I think, over 20 partners involved, and it's really, really important. Of course, Andy, to pick up your point, we're delighted that Siemens are the appointed automation and control partner for MMIC, and we're hugely excited about some of the advanced technologies that we're able to deploy into these grand challenges from the Siemens organisation.
Excellent. And of course, we're super proud as well. So, Katie, can you explain how you see the different partners are supporting the project? What are their motivations?
Yeah, Andy, we have a wide range of partners and they're supporting MMIC in a variety of different ways. For example, some are bringing detailed knowledge of the current and future challenges facing pharma manufacturing, and also the specific environment the technology needs to operate in, while others are bringing expertise or technology ideas which have already proved effective in different industries but haven't yet been applied to pharma. The partners then work together to design and deliver solutions to these significant medicines manufacturing challenges. The motivations of the partners to join MMIC vary. The different pharma companies are able to share ideas, costs and risks together in a pre-competitive way to deliver transformational projects which they would struggle to justify and deliver by themselves. Whereas for the technology companies, working on a grand challenge enables them to get a unique insight into how to design future products so they'll fulfill the needs of customers And it also potentially opens up new markets for those companies which haven't been exposed to the pharma industry before. For example, some of the partners we're working with are learning about GMP, or good manufacturing practice, requirements for the first time. These are critical parts of medicines manufacturing, and understanding how to design and build technology to GMP standards enables these companies to sell to the pharma customers in the future.
Okay, but it's not just big companies, right? There are small companies and academia involved as well. Can you talk a little bit about how they're involved?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with many types of companies who are aligned with the aims of MMIC and can both add value and derive benefit from the collaboration for themselves. So yes, this includes large pharma companies and large technology companies such as Siemens, who are involved in many areas of our grand challenges. But we also work with small technology companies who provide specialist expertise in narrow fields. We work with academic groups, pharma-grade material suppliers, business consultants, CDMOs, the list goes on. We also have a close relationship with regulatory agencies, because it's critical that the new technology we're delivering is aligned with regulatory expectations, and thus will be approvable when it's applied to commercial manufacturing of medicines.
It's all quite complicated. Dave, I want you to tell me about the organisation. How do you work out a business model to bring all these people together and work on those grand challenges?
Yeah, I mean, to answer that question, you have to look at MMIC at 3 different levels, and I'll start with the grand challenges themselves. So it's incredibly important. One of the most important decisions we make is choosing which grand challenge to work on. And so we have a very clear business model. There are 4 decision gates or stage gates that we have to go through, and we engage with a wide part of the industry and with experts, whether they be in the regulatory field or whether they're in the digital field, to give us real advice on that. And so we have a very disciplined approach to launching the grand challenge, because that's important. It has to be what industry wants and needs, adding value, as Katie said, to the patient, to the environment, and to productivity and growth, etc. So that's an important part of our governance. In terms of running the whole organisation, we have an independent supervisory board, so we are governed from an independent board. We have an independent technical advisory committee, which is very important, and then we have the executive leadership capability, and each grand challenge has its own leadership team, and we try to give each grand challenge senior leadership with partner involvement in the governance and give it the autonomy to go and deliver that grand challenge. The last thing I would say, Andy, is that Katie touched on about things like the regulator, or I might introduce digital, but we want to have a great relationship with key parts of the pharmaceutical ecosystem. So we have specialist groups that look after the regulator, and if you take the topic of digital, we are creating advanced digital solutions, and on top of that, we want our facility to be a factory of the future badged organisation. So the whole digital and integration of automation is incredibly important, and we have separate groups that look and govern those particular directions that we're going in.
From an overall perspective, let's dive into these grand challenges, because I think that's the real key. What are you actually working on? So I think we've got a picture of the Grand Challenge 1. And Katie, you mentioned them earlier, so it'd be good if you could talk through these little bits. We have a continuous production line here, which is Grand Challenge 1. So what's happening here, and what's happening in Grand Challenge 1?
Sure, Andy. So Grand Challenge 1 is delivering a continuous direct compression digital test bed. So continuous direct compression, or CDC, is a way to make tablets which is more agile, as in it responds more quickly to customer needs, and also has a smaller footprint than the traditional batch manufacture. This is important because many of the new medicines being developed now are for small patient populations, either because they're for niche indications or targeted for specific subpopulations of patients with a given disease. And therefore, they require much smaller batch sizes than for many of the older medicines. So in this grand challenge, we're installing physical CDC equipment and also building a digital twin, or MMIC, which can perform virtual CDC experiments. Together, these elements will enable us to develop processes to make tablets much more quickly and with much less material. Then, when these new processes make it to the commercial phase, we'll be manufacturing tablets at lower cost and with a smaller carbon footprint.
Wow. It sounds, I already heard about it, but yeah, it's a great summary there. But let's move on to the second one. the second grand challenge, and I think we also have a picture of that. This is the PACE system layout, I think we call it, yeah? So perhaps, Katie, can you describe this PACE, P-A-C-E?
Yes, so PACE, or the Pharmacy Automation for Clinical Efficiency, is an automated platform for tablet and capsule clinical trial packing and qualified person release. And this technology will significantly reduce the amount of waste and therefore financial and environmental cost in clinical trials, where currently over 50% of the medicines which are manufactured end up getting thrown away. So in this project, we're building physical equipment to fill, pack and label multiple different medicines, tablets and capsules, on a single line, which makes the whole process much more agile than a typical setup where an extensive clearance process is required between each different product that you want to pack. Moreover, we're able to fill drug directly into capsules before they're packed into bottles on this line, which means we can quickly and easily change the amount of drug from one pack to the next. And this enables us to serve the needs of adaptive clinical trials, where the amount of drug is adjusted on a patient-specific basis in response to measured clinical signals. The other very important feature of this project is an electronic qualified person or QP dashboard, which some of your teams at Siemens, Andy, are very much involved in. Mm-hmm. This dashboard will enable the QP, who's the person responsible for assuring the quality of medicines and formally releasing them for distribution to patients, to do this critical activity in real time. At the moment, QPs typically spend several weeks searching for and reviewing all of the relevant data after the product's packed into bottles before they are able to officially release the clinical trial packs to a patient. And this ability to do the just-in-time manufacturing and release of medicines via PACE means we can significantly shorten the time between an order for a new clinical pack being placed and that pack being released to distribution to the patient. This in turn will result in faster and cheaper supply of medicines and with much less waste.
Fantastic. I've always really found that fascinating, that grand challenge too, with this adaptive clinical trial idea and the just-in-time clinical manufacturing. Let's just briefly move on to grand challenge 3, perhaps not in so much detail, because I think it's, well, I know it's only just been recently announced, but can you, either of you, give me a bit more information on GC3?
Sure, yeah, we kicked off this project in February of this year, and it's a very exciting project. So oligonucleotides offer a powerful new treatment option for many different diseases, but the current state-of-the-art manufacturing process for these molecules is both financially and environmentally expensive, and it's also not very scalable. So there's a pressing need to develop a better solution to ensure these medicines are available to treat patients at affordable prices and in a sustainable way. And that's the target of this grand challenge, to develop a much improved manufacturing process for the oligonucleotides.
So in these times, we cannot get away from the impact that COVID-19 has had on the pharmaceutical industry, but that must have had some effect on your thinking of you and your team. Maybe, Dave, I go back to you. And how has this meant any adjustments to your strategy or to your grand challenges? What's the impact been?
Yeah, well, Andy, listen, if somebody had said to me 18 months ago we'd have managed to supply a vaccine in 300 days for the pandemic, I wouldn't have believed them. And I think it's been a remarkable achievement. But I think when experts analyse how we managed to achieve that, I think both data and collaboration will be at the heart of the answer. And of course, from an MMIC point of view, collaboration and the use of data to drive technology is the ethos of what we're trying to achieve. So I think this has taught the triple helix, the partners that are involved in that triple helix, that the value of collaboration and data. Now, specifically, we know that the technologies that have brought these vaccines forward have been accelerated. And so if we take technologies like RNA, we know that the lipid nanoparticulate, which is the encapsulation of that particular vaccine, is very challenging. It's not fully understood scientifically. So we are proposing in partnership with the UK government to drive an LNP grand challenge. On top of that, to try and vaccinate 7 billion people with an injectable vaccine is very challenging every year. So can we develop an oral, a nasal, or a patch vaccine to make it simpler from a supply chain perspective? And lastly, biologics are very, very important for mankind's society and industry. But can we apply more of the digital thinking to get smart biologics manufacturing? And again, that's a proposal that we have coming forward just now. So lots of exciting new ideas, and the pandemic is definitely feeding the next wave of future grand challenges.
Fantastic. Well, sounds like you've got plenty of work ahead of you as well, right? Time's against us, unfortunately, but I have one final question. What about the future? How are you defining and redefining those grand challenges, and how are you going to measure success? What's the long-term success looking like for MMIC? How are you going to be able to measure that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great question to end this conversation on. I think we've got to go back to the three important areas. We want these medicines to have a more sustained supply chain and to be cheaper for patients. That's at the heart of what we do. We want there to be a patient benefit, more access to complex medicines done in a more environmentally friendly way and cheaper to the payer. That's important. But just as important as for the patient, it's important that we can grow the economy. We are a UK innovation centre, so it's important that we're able to translate the technology to both protect jobs and create new jobs in the economy, and to make sure that the export of pharmaceuticals is incredibly important. And last of all, for the industry, I mean, the industry have been criticised, Andy, about the lack of pace and ambition for technology change. If you compare it to the car industry and the automotive industry, they've taken big steps forward. This is a chance for the pharma industry to really take a big step forward on technology implementation. And I think it's really important the pharma industry are engaging, as they are doing today, with organisations like MMIC.
Excellent. Well, I certainly hope that you're able to reach that long-term success, Dave. Katie, thank you both of you for taking your time to join us in the Siemens&Guests show. It's been really interesting chatting to you. I really hope that I'm able to get to Glasgow to see you soon, or that we see you next April in Frankfurt face-to-face. Thanks very much to you both, and goodbye. Have a great day. So what a fascinating and ambitious project that is. I really hope that all you guys out there have found it as interesting as I have, and that you will be following the topic, like me, with as much interest in the future.
Andy, you definitely showed your passion once again. What a fascinating topic and great guests you had there. Brilliant. A fantastic way to bring our Siemens&Guests show to a close. I'm really sad that our time together is nearly at an end, but it's definitely been packed with great insights, inspiring news and information on latest trends and technologies.
Yes, Christine. Our Siemens&Guests show may be over, but there is still plenty of interesting content to come. After the lunch break, our pitches will continue here on our Siemens exclusive channel. Remember, there are 35 of these pitch presentations in total, and if you miss one, you can still catch it on demand. There are also many other sessions on the ACHEMA live stages or the ACHEMA exhibitor channels.
Remember, if you still have any questions, our speakers and experts remain available for direct interaction with you through the ACHEMA Pulse platform. So please, dear viewers, make sure you take this opportunity to reach out to my colleagues for the rest of the day and challenge them. So Andy, I'm curious now, did you get any lucrative offers from any TV stations?
Well, Christine, the phone is still on and I'm still available through the online platform for any connections.
So the chances are good for you.
Maybe, but you know where my heart really is, don't you?
Of course I do, and it's for a good reason. But maybe we'll get the chance again to work together next year. And I heard that Siemens will be putting up a live studio for next year's ACHEMA in April 2022. I'm expecting we will provide an exciting blend of online and face-to-face content.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I hope that everyone will enjoy and benefit from everything available on the ACHEMA Pulse platform. Remember that all our sessions and all this great content, like the virtual tours which we have prepared for you, is available on demand. So from my side, enjoy that, take care, and I see you latest in April 2022.
Thanks everyone for joining. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Stay curious, stay safe, and most important, stay healthy. Goodbye.
Bye.
And See you soon.